The story begins with an unemployed homeless Japanese man who died after being hit by a truck, but was reborn in a fantasy world as Rudeus, the son of Paul Greyrat, a swordsman, and his wife Zenith, a healer. Rudeus retains his memories from his past life and quickly learns how to read, eventually progressing to study magic. Upon noticing his talent, Rudeus' parents hire Roxy Migurdia, an adventurer, to teach him magic. Initially uncertain about teaching him due to his young age, Roxy changes her mind after witnessing Rudeus' exceptional ability to cast magic instantly, realizing his high potential. At a party thrown by the Greyrat family to welcome Roxy, Rudeus promises to work hard to improve himself and make the most of the second chance he has been given to have a happy and fulfilling life. Rudeus then reflects on his previous life, where he was expelled from his home and eventually died after saving some teenagers from a truck. He spends several months training in magic with Roxy until his 5th birthday, which is celebrated with a party. During the event, Roxy announces that she has taught him everything he needs to know and will administer his graduation exam the next day. The following day, Rudeus sets off on his first journey outside his home with Roxy. He initially struggles with his past trauma of being bullied by his classmates, which resulted in him becoming a recluse. However, he is able to overcome it by observing how Roxy is able to integrate into the village despite facing prejudice due to her demon origins. During the exam, Rudeus successfully summons a massive thunderstorm, and Roxy confirms that he has passed. Roxy then leaves to continue her journey, and Rudeus expresses his gratitude for everything she has taught him. He no longer fears leaving his home thanks to Roxy, and begins playing outside by himself. One day, he saves a half-elf child from some bullies and befriends him, assuming the child is a boy named Sylph. Rudeus teaches Sylph magic, and they discover that Sylph can cast spells without incantations. 6 months later, Rudeus takes Sylph home during a storm and they take their clothes off to bathe together. However, Rudeus discovers that Sylph is actually a girl named Sylphiet, and he apologizes for his mistake. Despite his apology, Sylphiet starts avoiding Rudeus, which upsets him. Eventually, Sylphiet approaches Rudeus and they make up with one another. Rudeus is determined to cherish his friendship with Sylphiet, which is the first true friendship he has made in his new life. A few days pass and the Greyrat family is ecstatic to hear that Zenith is pregnant again, but their joy is short-lived when their maid Lilia discloses that she is also expecting a baby after having an affair with Paul. In order to shield Lilia from Zenith's anger, Rudeus persuades his mother to pardon her by pinning the entire blame on Paul, even though Rudeus knows that Lilia was the one who enticed him. As a result, Lilia is grateful to Rudeus and pledges her loyalty to him. Zenith and Lilia give birth to 2 girls named Norn and Aisha respectively. Later on, Rudeus receives a letter from Roxy urging him to attend the Renoa Magic Academy, and although he considers leaving, Sylphiet does not want him to go, so he decides to find work to fund her education as well. Rudeus' parents then entrusts him to their friend, Ghislaine Daedoldia, a beast woman who takes him away from the village. The two depart from the village and while on the move, Rudeus reads a letter from Paul. The letter informs him that he has secured a tutoring job for Rudeus to pay for his and Sylphiet's education. However, Paul imposes a condition that Rudeus must not go back home or meet Sylphiet for the next 5 years. They then reach the city of Roa where he meets his employer, Philip Boreas Greyrat, who is also his father's cousin and the mayor. He is instructed to teach Philip's daughter Eris, but she initially displays hostility towards him. With the approval of Eris' father, Rudeus fakes their kidnapping to win Eris' trust. After they are captured, Rudeus persuades Eris to work with him and they manage to escape using his magical abilities. Upon returning to Roa, Rudeus discovers that one of Philip's servants is aiding the kidnappers and they had turned his fake kidnapping into a real one. He then fights to protect Eris from the kidnappers until Ghislaine arrives and eliminates the criminals, arresting the servant. Eris finally accepts Rudeus as her tutor after the incident and he moves in with her. Philip expresses gratitude towards Rudeus for safeguarding Eris and cautions him not to disclose his affiliation with the Greyrat family to anyone to avoid being targeted again. Later on, Ghislaine starts training Eris and Rudeus in swordsmanship, while Rudeus teaches them magic, literacy, and mathematics. Eris finds the classes tedious and tends to skip them, prompting Rudeus to grant her 1 day off every week as a motivator. During a leisurely stroll in the city, Eris tries to purchase an expensive book for Rudeus, but he declines, indicating that she can't give presents to others without her own resources and recommends that her father give her an allowance. Eris then subsequently gifts Rudeus with a vial that he had expressed interest in earlier, which puts him in a difficult position as he worries about disclosing to her and Ghislaine that it is, in fact, an aphrodisiac. As Eris' 10th birthday party approaches, Rudeus decides to let her dance teacher take over some of his tutoring sessions to help her improve her dancing skills, which also gives him extra free time to learn some new languages. Despite this effort, Eris doesn't seem to be improving in her dancing and feels like giving up. However, Rudeus encourages her to keep trying and even starts helping her with her lessons. While Rudeus is making progress in learning new languages with the help of Ghislaine and Roxy, Eris doesn't show any improvement. On the day of the party, Eris fails to dance with another noble, but Rudeus steps in and successfully dances with her by suggesting that she incorporates some of her fighting skills into her dance moves. After the party, Rudeus meets Eris' grandfather Soros, who sees a strange ball of light in the sky and worries that it may be a bad omen. 2 years later, Eris and her family organize a birthday celebration for Rudeus. During the party, Rudeus receives a top-notch magic staff as a gift, and Philip proposes that Rudeus marries Eris and becomes his successor, which Rudeus refuses. Later that night, Eris surprises Rudeus in his room, and he tries to make love with her, but she declines. After realizing his mistake, Rudeus apologizes and Eris forgives him. A few days later, a large cloud of mana appears in the sky, and Perugius Dola, the legendary hero, sends his aide Arumanfi to investigate. Arumanfi suspects that Rudeus, who was practicing with his new staff with Eris and Ghislaine, may have caused the cloud's appearance and attacks him. However, Ghislaine defends Rudeus, and when a bright light envelops them, she confirms his innocence. Later in a dream, Rudeus encounters an elusive human god who advises him to rely on and assist his savior. Upon waking up, he discovers that he and Eris are stranded in the middle of the demon continent and were rescued by Rygerd Superdia, a member of the feared Superd race. Rygerd promises to accompany them back home and brings them to Roxy's birthplace, the nearby Migardia village. While staying there, Rudeus learns from Rygerd that his tribe's negative reputation is due to the cursed spears they received from the demon god Laplace. These spears transformed them into mindless killers, and the spear in Rudeus's possession belonged to Rygerd's son, whose death at Rudeus's hands restored Rygerd's sanity. Motivated by Rygerd's determination to clear his race's name, Rudeus decides to assist him, and the three set off on their journey across the demon continent. Upon arriving at the city of Rakarasu, Rudeus, Eris, and Rygerd face the challenge of getting Rygerd into the city without any issues. To solve this, Rudeus dyes Rygerd's hair and has him pretend to be a member of the Migardia tribe. Upon the suggestion of the human god in a dream, Rudeus agrees to search for a lost pet, which leads them to a group of adventurers who kidnaps animals to claim the reward for finding them. After defeating the kidnappers, Rudeus attempts to interrogate them, but one of the kidnappers hit him, prompting Rygerd to kill him on the spot. Rudeus then scolds Rygerd and prohibits him from killing again. Taking advantage of the kidnappers' higher rank, Rudeus coerces them into taking higher-paying jobs and helping to improve their party's reputation. Following the Mana Surge event back in the city of Fitoa, most of Paul's family members are missing, so he asks his contacts to organize search parties to locate them. In the meantime, Rudeus and his group are on a quest to find a mysterious monster in a forest. 2 other groups are also searching for the same monster, but one of them gets ambushed, resulting in the death of an adventurer. Rudeus decides to wait and eventually encounters the monster, which attacks and kills the other party before being defeated by Rudeus and his team. After returning to Rakarasu, Rudeus is blackmailed by another adventurer who discovers his plan to take higher-ranked quests. Rygerd, who is moved by Rudeus' commitment to protect Eris, reveals himself as a Superd and threatens the adventurer not to reveal their secret. Rudeus and Rygerd then reconcile before leaving the city and continue traveling with Eris to a coastal city on the edge of the demon continent. Meanwhile, Roxy is also on her way to the continent to find Rudeus, accompanied by 2 of Paul's former companions, but Rudeus is unaware of their arrival.